It's important to understand that if you are trying to get a smart startup loan and you have bad credit and you don't want to pledge any collateral in the process, you got to follow a certain rule. Okay, you got to follow a certain process, and it's really important to always ask information before you start anything. So here's the approach I really want to implement right now. So what you want to do is you want to ask questions and take notes when you meet with lenders, okay? The thing is, you want to start a business loan with bad credit, no collateral. Some lenders are different. Some lenders are stricter than others. Some lenders are lenient based on the requirements, okay? And some lenders will not even consider your business if you have not been in operation for 1 or 2 years. So no matter the kind of lender you decide to go with, make sure that you are able to have a one-on-one conversation with the loan rep. And you want to ask specific questions, and you want to always write your answers down, okay? It's a lot better to meet with the lender first. If not, just send an email whereby you just ask all your questions and they will get back to you. So at least you know how to start the process for getting your startup loan with bad credit and no collateral. One thing I also want you to pay attention to right now is to decide what kind of loan that you need. See, the whole thing is that when we talk to a lender, you might want a specific startup loan for your new business, and the lender might decide to give you something else. For example, you might ask for a startup business line of credit, and the lender will give you startup business financing equipment, for example. Okay, so it has to be, you have to think about the loan types here, and the closer you are to your goals in terms of loan type, the better it is, because you are able to get your loan approved no matter what. And you also want to think whether or not you want to ask the lender whether or not you can apply for their specific startup business loan with bad credit, no collateral online. Because some lenders allow you to apply for a business loan online, while others want you to go to a branch, like let's say a brick and mortar location, to apply there. Okay, if you go with an online lender, if you go with an alternative lender, they have processes in place where you're able to apply online, and you can always try to see whether or not you pre-qualify. Always seek pre-qualification for your startup business loan before actually applying for real. That way you can actually reduce the amount and impact, if you will, of a soft pull on your credit score. Okay, the bottom line is you want to preserve your credit score. The third thing I want you to really pay attention to as you're having conversation. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. I love to have these kinds of conversations every now and then. So what I want to do here is that you need to also ask your lender the documents you need to gather before you apply. Remember, you are trying to have a startup business loan, bad credit, no collateral, okay? But you need to have a clear idea about the paperwork needed to apply successfully. And that paperwork is varied. It is diverse. It goes from a business plan to financial projections to a copy of your credit reports, okay? And also to have a copy of your business credit reports. Even if you're a startup, you can have a DUNS number, and you can have like a beginning of a credit score with like PAYDEX. Okay. Now don't forget that what we talk about startup, what experts are really saying is that your business has been in operation for less than 12 months. Okay. So if you have been in operations for less than 12 months, you still technically qualify as a startup. Okay. So if you have been in business for 6 months or 9 months, chances are you might have generated some kind of operational data. So this could feed into a financial projection, a financial projected statement. It could be into a balance sheet, into an income statement, into cash flow statement, or into an owner's equity. Okay, so be clear about that. And you need to also ask the lender how long it takes for your application to actually be funded, to your application to be approved and then funded. Why? Because if you are trying to have a startup business loan with bad credit and no collateral, chances are you have liquidity problems. Chances are you are facing a cash crunch at the moment. Chances are you need the cash real quick. So you can't wait for 2 months. Like if you were to go to a traditional lender such as a bank or a credit union, sometimes they take like so many days and weeks. You'll be like, wow, by the time they actually fund you, you're probably your startup might be out of business. Okay, I'm just joking here, but you get the point. The point is that you want to make sure the lender is real fast in answering you. The lender really understands that, listen, we will review your application real fast and we'll actually make sure that we approve you. Like we release the funds in no time once you're approved. Okay, so look for those timing metrics. also want to have a conversation. If you want to have a startup business loan, bad credit, no collateral, make sure that you ask the lender about the typical rates and the closing fees. Okay, depending on your loan request, make sure that you have a clear idea about how much you're going to pay in exchange. See, the thing is, a lot of startups, including you, boss, if you're listening to me right now, if you want to have a startup business loan, bad credit, no collateral, you basically you just want to have some cash, okay? And you are willing to take anything. But that's a bad idea. That's a really bad idea to take anything. You don't want to take anything. You want to have a clear idea about what you're getting yourself into, okay? So you want to ask how much they're charging you for the APR, what are the closing fees, for example, okay? And it's one of those things where you might say, well, what if they don't tell me? Well, if you don't ask, you'll never know whether they'll tell you or not, okay? And you also, you want to ask them, let's say, like the kind of, which is another question that's important. You want to ask them whether or not there is a possibility to avoid annual fees or one-time fees in terms of your startup loans, okay? Because some loans don't come up with fees, and some loans do. So you want to make sure the type of loan that you choose basically has fees attached to it, okay? So this is important. Boss, I want to remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to get a startup business loan with bad credit, no collateral. What are the questions you want to ask your lender first to make sure that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into, and that you can boost your chances of approval, okay? Because that's the bottom line. The bottom line is, I want you to be approved, boss. That's what I care about. I care about actually you walking all the way to the nearest bank or nearest credit union and get cash in your bank account, okay? And you also want to you want to ask them if there are ways you can lower or reduce the interest rate that you may have to pay, okay? Because simply because you have a startup business loan, simply because you are a startup and you need a business loan with bad credit, no collateral, doesn't mean that you have to necessarily be in a weak position, in a position of weakness. No, you are strong. I want you to get your ass up and actually ask questions, okay? And also ask the lender whether or not you're going to have to pledge a personal guarantee. Ideally, you don't want to pledge any guarantee at all, because you really want to make sure that you are separating your personal affairs from your business's affairs. And another question that you really need to ask here, you need to actually ask the conditions the terms and conditions that prevail at the beginning of your loan agreement, when you sign your loan agreement, and during the lifetime of the loan as you're repaying the loan, okay? The reason why is that if you have a startup, things change. Like your company can be small today, but 1 year from now, if God, God willing, you get a big ass contract, your business can scale real quick. Your business can scale really, really, really fast. And it's important to be in a position where you can scale if the right opportunity knocks on the door, okay? And those things don't just happen. Somebody says, like, luck is when opportunity meets preparation, and that's true. Okay, that's definitely true. You got to put in the hard work first, okay? And you want to ask whether or not the ongoing relationship that you have with the lender will change based on your situation. If you become a small or mid-sized business, can they accommodate you? Okay, and so that's if we have an ideal case scenario or best case scenario. But what if we also think about a worst case scenario? Let's say you're not able to repay your startup business loan with bad credit, no collateral. Is there any possibility for your business loan to be modified? Okay. Or is there anything about loan modification or renewal process in case you have a startup business line of credit? Let's talk about that. You want your lender to be really upfront, when it comes to those things, because that way you have a clear idea, again, what you're getting yourself into. Okay. And in some cases, ask the lender if they are an SBA preferred lender. Okay. Now, if they are an SBA preferred lender, I mean, the SBA loans, the requirements are much more stringent, and you might need to actually offer collateral to actually qualify for that loan, because the government ain't really bailing out your ass if you're not putting any skin in the game yourself also, okay? But the thing, so here you're just exploring alternatives. You're just exploring options. You're just seeing what's possible. You're just seeing what's out there in terms of startup business funding, okay? It's all about making sure that you're putting different eggs in different proverbial baskets. So here are the few pro tips I really want you to be aware of. As you are trying to get a startup business loan with bad credit, no collateral, make sure that you are aware of potential loan fee scams. There are a lot of scammers are out there. Unfortunately, they're trying to really prey on everyday like hardworking business owners in this country. It's just a pity. But hey, listen, it is what it is. It's important to understand that when you have a startup business loan with bad credit, no collateral, some lenders will ask you to pay like a crazy amount of fees up front, like maybe 2% or 3% of the fee. Like let's say they grant you $100,000, they'll ask you to pay a $3,000 or $5,000 for that matter before they give you the cash. Never fall for this scam. Never, boss, never. If the lender wants to charge you some fees, what will happen here is that they will actually, first of all, for you to pay the fees, they have to actually send you the money before they withdraw their own fee. Don't pay any money up front. If a lender is asking you, hey, please give us $5,000 so we can release, $100,000 in your bank account, you want to run as fast away as Usain Bolt trying to chase the 100-meter record, okay? You don't want to actually be in that vicinity. Those lenders are scammers, okay? Very important. And in some cases, it's just a lot better to work with a loan broker, because then you are lowering the risk of having to deal with a scammer. Because if you deal with a loan brokers have experience in the industry, in your specific industry, for example, and they just work with you to make sure that you get the loan that you need anyway, right? So that's really an important element, to be sure that you are basically getting the loan that you really need at the price or the rates that you want anyway. And boss, by the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about how to get a startup business loan with bad credit, no collateral. I'm just sharing with you a few tips and hacks here to accelerate your approval process, the questions you need to ask, things you need to be aware of so that you don't actually fall prey to, you don't become prey to any kind of scams or whatever, okay? Very important. So big decision time, boss, big decision time. Have you actually been approached by like a dodgy lender in the last few weeks or months? And how did you react to that? Let us know in the comment section how you were able to spot and actually chase away any potential loan scam. Now, I want you to review stuff, boss. In the review category, I want you to really safeguard your personal or business credit, okay, business credit score from too many inquiries. The thing is, if you are trying to get a startup business loan with bad credit and no collateral, you might be tempted to apply here and there, apply all the time. But if you do this is problematic, because your FICO score will tank very quickly. Because every time you have a hard pull, you are losing 10 points, 10 or 15 points. And on your business credit score, side, things could be similar too. You don't want your payday score to be around 45 or 50. You don't want your Intel score, your Experian Intel score to be around like a 75 or 60. You don't want your Equifax business score to be also in the basement of that spectrum, of the credit score spectrum. The bottom line, what I'm trying to say here is what I'm trying to tell you, to be strategic in terms of timing your loan application, okay? Because you are going to apply for several loans. Make sure that you are basically strategic, that you could probably choose the best. And even better, what you want to do here is that you want to pre-qualify first. You always want to seek pre-qualification so that you are clear about the loan that you are asking for, that you have time also to research the company, that you have time to actually gauge whether or not this is an interesting proposition for you before you authorize them to run a hard pull on your credit, okay? So this is important. Now, money, boss, money. How much do you want to have? How much would you like to have in startup business loan with bad credit? How much are you looking for? 10 grand, 15 grand, 100 grand? How much? And now, second thing is that how many lenders do you believe can meet that loan amount that you are seeking? And number three, how many lenders do you want to pre-qualify for first before deciding whether or not before deciding the best lender for you? Think about those things, but the bottom line is do not apply right away. You want to pre-qualify first. To actually close today's conversation, let me say that you need to, in the bonus category, you want to take your time and don't feel pressured to apply for a loan. Okay, it's important because sometimes you might be thinking, well, I want to apply for a loan real quick, whatever. But hey, listen, can your startup business survive without getting the funds it needs? Because sometimes it's important that you need to make sure that you are in a position to repay the loan. See, when we talk about having a startup business loan with bad credit and no collateral, getting the loan is the relatively easier part of the process. The harder part of the process is to repay the loan. Because if you have a startup, you get a business loan, okay, that's fine. How are you going to repay the loan? That's another question. Are you going to generate enough revenue to repay the loan? Okay. And one thing that's really important to remember here is that you have to constantly ask yourself whether or not you are in the right you are in the right position in terms of geography. Because see, it's not just about having a startup business loan. It's about, is your business located in the right geography, in the right state, in the right city, in the right council? In the right county, not council, the right county. For example, to take advantage of, let's say, local economic trends, to take care of the advantage of the fact that there is no market leader in your industry. This is important. So take your time and do not feel pressure to apply for a loan, for a startup business loan. Okay, make sure you have a clear way to monetize your business, business model before you apply for a loan. And a great way to do this is to actually write out your plan through something called a business plan. Okay, this is a way to actually provide a synopsis of your business, your startup's activity. Think about the market trends, okay, the internal forces, the external forces, the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, things that could actually overall help your business, your startup succeed. Because the bottom line is you have to succeed so you can repay whatever loan you get from a lender, right? And again, it doesn't matter. You can get this startup business loan with bad credit, no collateral, even if you have no income. Okay, you can get approved real fast as long as you apply the proper way. And I'll talk to you now about how to apply the proper way. So here's the decision for you. To apply the proper way, you're going to have a business plan. You're going to have financial projections. You're going to have your business licenses and permits. You're going to have anything that makes your business look legit. You're going to have a legal business address, that's totally separate from your house or basement, whatever, like your house at your residential address. Okay. And also make sure that you get a second quote from another lender. So before you actually go with your preferred lender, make sure that you get a second opinion. You never know. You just never know. Okay. Don't assume that the lender that you talk to at first is the best lender for you. You never know. It's always like, if you have a condition, if you have a health condition, it's always better to get a second opinion from a doctor so that for sure, okay, if that opinion confirms what you got in the first place, that okay, you have confirmation that, hey, listen, you have a proof positive that basically this is the condition you're suffering from. Okay, then you can take action. Same thing for a startup business loan with bad credit, no collateral. You want to get an opinion from another lender so you are sure about what really works for you. Here is a big decision time for you. Big decision time, boss. Let me ask you a question. How much are you actually seeking right now as a startup business loan with bad credit and no collateral? Talk to me about the amount. Let's run the numbers let's run the numbers step by step. So you pick the number that you want, like the amount that you want to borrow. Okay, that's number one. That's clear enough. Number two, establish how you're going to repay that loan, how you're going to repay that startup business loan. Just write it down. Number 3, you want to write down your strategies to generate revenue. So if you have a startup, chances are you don't produce revenue yet, but you need to find a way to start generating income right off the bat, or at least like not too long, because if you wait too long, you might actually be out of business before you even start. Okay, so you need to have a clear idea about how to position yourself so you can seize the opportunities in the industry. This is really important, boss. This is really important. And one thing I want you to say, I want to say before closing, is that you need to really have everything in writing, and a business plan can help you with that. Thank you so much, boss. I really appreciate having you here, and we had a great conversation about startup business loans with bad credit, no collateral, and I gave you the approach to follow. I give you a few pro tips, the review you need to think about, the bonus you need to think about, and the decision you need to have so that you are always a winner. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.